In the course of 100 years, leadership has been defined in different manners, going from the early theories of management, going on to transformational leadership, to transactional leadership. For me, leadership is a visionary approach. One term which I've coined in my management teaching is anticipatory leadership. And I define anticipatory leadership as the leader today defining the organization for tomorrow. Silvio de Bono is an energetic, dynamic, entrepreneurial, visionary person, constantly looking for bright ideas to enhance society at large. Well, I would say that it ignited from an idea that I wanted to do things differently. Over 3 decades later, I would say I'm no longer employable. But it started in a basement at home, in an office which is 4x4, which I still treasure the times I spend in that office on my own, thinking and foreseeing the future, because I feel that we have just started. The idea was basically to do something different than others. And in order to do so, we've spent a lot of time planning and setting the groundwork. Eventually, we moved out from a small semi-basement to a much bigger office with more employees in a proper office setup. We were hoping that that would last for a couple of years, but we moved out sooner than we ever thought into a much bigger place than we are here, and the future is so bright that eventually I think that we will start also looking into expanding not only in the services, but also in the offerings that we have, not only for ourselves, but mostly for our students and our corporate clients as well. Very tricky question. I would say that the best achievement, modestly speaking, is of course the development of Idea Academy. Not because it's a business, because through this institution, we gave ample opportunities to a number of people, a number of students who were in the middle of their career, who thought that their career is over. But through Idea Academy, they have managed to reignite their career, at times change their career, got promoted, and therefore I think that Idea Academy has given the opportunity to a number, thousands of students, not only residing in Malta, but I would also say abroad, specifically coming to Malta to enhance, to develop their bright career. Honesty, transparency, and commitment are 3 very important keywords which I consider as the basis of my management philosophy. I never employ people who have the best degrees or who are the best in what they do, but I like employing people. I like people around me who are honest, who say the truth, who criticize me constantly in anything that I'm doing, who are totally committed in what they do, even if they're not the best. But this level of commitment, the personal commitment, drives not only themselves, but others around them. But thirdly and not least, honest. Honest with themselves, honest in giving a good days of work, and honest in ensuring that what they do does not only come from their mental ability, but most of all comes from the heart. I think is ensuring that they are truly, honestly committed in what they do. Sometimes people, particularly in closed societies, fail to be themselves because they think more of what others think about them rather than they think about themselves and what they think about a particular situation. So I think one of the biggest challenge in today's world is getting other people and motivated, committed, and empowered enough to say what they think rather than to say what other people want them to say. In fact, by adopting an open management philosophy, which could seem as a cliche, I expect people around me to be themselves in what they do, in what they say, in how they act and react to different situations. Because one thing which I don't want is having people around me who are extension of myself. That is not good enough. But having people around me who are not extension of myself, but they are extension of themselves, gives the organization a much wider, richer perspective, and it enriches the output. Definitely, I don't want to be surrounded by yes men, and anyone who says yes simply because I ask something to be done, I don't think has the right person and place within the organization. Being surrounded by yes men is in fact a disastrous, which lead the organization to a complete downfall. Well, I've seen the education sector developing. What we are doing here is we are giving mid-career people opportunities to think about themselves. And whereas previously it was practically impossible to attend tertiary education due to qualifications, due to commitment, due to other jobs, and they couldn't pursue their dreams, their career, probably career which they never pursued because they couldn't. Today, I think through our institution, they are given this opportunity, and therefore what we are particularly contributing is giving these people opportunities to develop. It's not the first time that even during graduation, I have people around me and they tell me, thank you very much because through this institution, I fulfilled my dream. Thank you because through this institution, I fulfilled a goal. Whereas before, with the traditional schooling methods, which we have adopted even at tertiary level, probably these individuals would have had their opportunities closed once and for all. So I feel extremely happy, honored, that if we did nothing right, at least we are giving a lot of opportunities to students to develop their potential to the maximum ability. And believe me, this can be done very truly, very honestly, very diligently, and giving the people the opportunity to flourish is the best feeling one can have. The way we distinguish ourselves is that we partner with clients. We do not present ourselves as know-it-all, but our approach is, rather than a consultative approach, is a partnering approach. This has always been my approach for the over 25, 28 years or more. So my approach has always been in this business, I am partnering with you, I am giving you my knowledge, but you know your institution, you know your organization much more than I do. So if we join forces, I think we would be able to identify the problem, to come up with the best solution, and with the right commitment and tools, we can implement a solution. And more often than not, we have had huge successes in each and every project that we have been entrusted. To answer the question, I would like to take them at three distinct levels. On a personal level, I think there needs to be more awareness that the skills and competences at the individual level needs to be developed more sharply. The schools need to give more attention not only to the curriculum subject, but more specifically, we need to give more importance to numeracy, to financial literacy, and to values. I think at a personal level, we need to ensure that the personal values that people had in the past decades will be reinstilled once again, would be reignited once again. Because any person, any professional without the personal values would lose focus, would lose tact and track and vision and the right attitude. So even at a personal level, at a micro level, this will eventually affect society. Society affects the national economy. National economies would affect the international, the global economy. So even at a macro level, at a micro level rather than a micro level, at a micro level, there needs to be this personal commitment to better skills, to better literacy, and to better values. That is the primary level. Then I would say that at the national level, we need to give more importance to national spending. I think we have lived, a number of societies and countries, I must say, have lived beyond their means. We have put profit before anything else, to the detriment of a number of people, and we have created different clusters which have been marginated in the course of time. So I would say that at a national level, we need to give more importance in ensuring that each and every cluster of society, and we do understand that society is made up of different clusters, but these different clusters are to be reintegrated so that the difference between the top and the bottom up to a certain point would be reduced as well, keeping in mind that the differences will always remain. I think that at international level, then there's the global warming, which has a very important impact, impacting not only national economies and international economies, but also individuals at large. So I think the global warming, together with water scarcity, are two very important environmental global issues, which, in my opinion, we really need to start even educating people at lower levels. And this reinforces, closes the cycle that I've started earlier on, that we cannot discuss big international issues if we don't start by first reinstilling the values at the personal level, at the national level, keep on going up to the international level. That's a huge question. In the course of 100 years, leadership has been defined in different manners, going from the early theories of management, going on to transformational leadership, to transactional leadership. For me, leadership is a visionary approach. One term which I've coined in my management teaching is anticipatory leadership. And I define anticipatory leadership as the leader today defining the organization for tomorrow. So good leaders do not manage the day. Good leaders manage the tomorrow. Good leaders have the horizon in mind. Good leaders, for good leaders, the day is the past already. When I wake up tomorrow morning, I will not manage tomorrow, but I will have to manage what's going to happen 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line. That is leadership. At the same time, in order to do that, you have to entrust people around you to manage the operational day-to-day issues and even a shorter-term approach. Beyond that, leadership becomes management. And there's a huge difference between managing people and leading people. Managing is you're doing it now for today. Leading is you're managing tomorrow so that tomorrow, when they reach that point, you will be managing the day after tomorrow. Well, no. The healthcare sector, I think, in every sector that we are working, we are creating opportunities, at the same time filling a gap. The Academy boasts itself of being industry-driven. And if you have a look into all the industry sectors that we are currently working on, we work very much bottom-up approach. So we identify the gaps in the national as well as in the international market, and we fill these gaps by providing the right competences and eventually qualifications for people to take these opportunities and therefore fill the employment gaps. We are industry-driven, career-driven educational institution. Well, I would say a lot of work, perseverance, commitment, and being able to anticipate others. This is a game, but instead of now only working and looking within a smaller quarter, you are now being engaged, one is being engaged into looking into the same opportunities but elsewhere. So to answer the question, how can we be competitive abroad? It's not by replicating what we are doing here, because what works in one place does not necessarily work in another. So you have to learn, study the market, even internationally. You have to identify what is needed, try to associate and align oneself with partners who share the same values and management ethos and business ethos that we share over here. Because for me, this is critical, important, imperative. If two partners do not share the same ethos, that leads to a big problem. To do's is be ready to fail, but never give up. To don'ts is don't think big at the first time, but dream big, but start working within your own pool, within your own environment. Because if you try to swim in an ocean where you can barely swim, you can easily drown. So my advice is think big, but start swimming in a small pool. Eventually go into the sea, eventually go into an ocean. I still have doubts. Having doubts is part of the success. If you think that you would be doing something, planning something, and at the same time you don't have doubts, then if you're too sure about yourself, the probability is that you're going to fail. Having doubts is part of the process. Taking decisions in uncertain times and with high level of uncertainty is part of the success. I truly think that academia has also helped me to move away from the emotional decision-making only to the rational decision-making. Today, I consider them both important. My emotional drivers are important, but my rational drivers and the logic for every decision-making that I make are equally important. Today, we cannot make any mistakes.